you and I, we were born with these big hearts that were meant to feel. We were born to feel. We were born to be sad sometimes and scared sometimes and anxious sometimes and angry sometimes and excited sometimes and happy and joyful and peaceful and all the feelings that come with being human. We were born with these big hearts to carry all these feelings and share them and experience them and to use them to add color and richness to our lives. And yet, so often, we spend so much of our life energy repressing what we feel, pushing it down, as if somehow we shouldn't have these feelings. They shouldn't be here. We don't want them. They're in the way. They're inconvenient feelings. They're inconvenient truths. And we want to push these down and not allow ourselves to have them. And much of our vitality gets spent in pushing down what we feel. And then we walk around with the heaviness of all these pushed down feelings. How come? Why do we do this? What gets us to live in this way that the very thing we were meant to experience is something we try so hard not to? And how do we get back to living a feeling rich, an emotionally rich life? Let me tell you, I think what happened to us really early on. We went to our parents with our sadness, and they said, that's not a big deal. You shouldn't be sad about that. We went to our parents with our anger, and maybe they said, hey, quit being angry about that. And they shut us down with their anger. We went to our parents with our scared or our anxious, and they said, that's nothing to be scared about. And instead of meeting our sadness with compassion, instead of meeting our anger by taking us seriously, instead of meeting our anxiety or scared with reassurance, they dismissed it, they minimized it, they pushed it away. And as that happened again and again, for whatever reason, throughout our childhood, perhaps our parents were just really busy, perhaps they had 2 jobs and just didn't have time for what we were feeling, but for whatever the reason it was, as we again and again found our feelings dismissed, diminished, pushed away, we began to say to ourselves, there's no room for these feelings. And so we began to take ourselves away from our feelings, distracting ourselves with everything from video games to Facebook. We found ways to take ourselves away from what we felt because there was no room for our feelings with the people that we thought would love us most. What now? Well, here's what I wonder. What would happen if instead of trying to live as if the feelings were in the way, what if we lived as if the feelings were the way? What if our feelings were the way forward into a life that was rich, into a life that was meaningful, into a life that was rewarding? What if when we felt something, rather than tell ourselves we shouldn't have it and push it down or get busy and trample over it, what if we slowed down into the feeling? And what if we, when we were sad, slowed down into it and brought our own compassion to our sadness? Oh, of course you're sad. That's hard. It's okay to be sad. Or when we were scared or anxious, we reassured ourselves, of course I'm scared and anxious. What if we became who we were always waiting for? The very person that made room for our hearts. All of a sudden, we wouldn't be weighted down by all the feelings that we're pushing down. We would be liberated by our ability to be in touch with who we are. And our lives would be colored in rich ways by what we felt. We would understand ourselves and how we relate to others in the world around us in richer, clearer ways. And we'd be able to act not encumbered by what we feel, but empowered by what we feel. And we could live our lives in this emotionally rich way, where the moments that were once ordinary become extraordinary because we're alive for them with feeling. We're alive for them with heart. Oh, wouldn't that be a great world to live in? A world that we created for ourselves and then brought to others and inspired the world to live with the richness of heart.